In an era where the lines between work and home are increasingly getting blurred, prioritizing work life balance is crucial for maintaining both the wellness and job satisfaction. When we talk about wellness, it's essential that we have a look into both mental health and your physical health. To answer it all short, I am a corporate communication strategist. I help empower people to speak and lead with influence, authority, and impact. When I have to talk about work life balance, I myself, an ambitious corporate woman, I actively and passionately serve multiple organizations and forums. And then I also do an active parenting and multiple leadership roles in non-voluntary organizations, and quite often I step on that boundary of work-life balance and try it day in day out. And these are certain practical strategies that I want to give away as a communication strategist. How can we hack communication and balance it out with both your work and life balance? So, in my belief, every busy working professionals can achieve work life balance and live life to the fullest by understanding and implementing a 3D communication formula that will definitely help us balance our work and life. So, what is this 3D formula? Three Ds, which means define boundaries, delegate the responsibility, and dare to say no. Now, let's get into each one of it and see how this could be used effectively in order to define our work life balance better. First, let's start with defining boundaries. What is defining boundaries? So, as I mentioned, when I look at work life balance, it is a constant juggle that we are making. I think sometimes I'm the juggler with the balls where I have to drop the balls in the air, and then I constantly have to, catch it, and then the other ball goes out. So, these balls are nothing but our dimensions, and then we constantly, every single day, throw it in the air and then we juggle. Sometimes I also feel that I'm spinning plates, and all I want every single day is not to drop any plate. And I don't want to definitely see any plate from the air come down thrashing. So now, playing multiple roles, how do we keep all of these balls or plates in the air is a question. So now, out of all that roles that we play, be it as a professional person, spouse, being a parent, being in-laws, being children, or being siblings, these are certain dimensions that we are playing. Now, how do we protect our energy to play each of these roles at 100%? So that's the $1 billion question that we have right now. One quick, simple tip that we all can immediately use is by defining boundaries. When I talk about defining boundaries, people often feel that, hey, I feel very selfish if I have to define a boundary between families, define a boundary at work. And I feel quite often very uncomfortable and selfish in doing it. And I would only tell that defining boundaries means that you're protecting your energy so that you can play that role 100 percentage. So now how does that sound? Defining boundaries is nothing but you need to train the people around you how to be with you so that you can protect your energy and conserve them to give you 100% in the role that you are playing. Now, art of boundary setting. Now, look around at the roles that you are playing and define what is that bare minimum that needs to be put in place so that you can perform your role better. So, that bare minimum, lesser than or equal to perform your role better, becomes your boundary. For example, let me give a personal example where I would like to set a boundary with my daughter where 9 to 5, or when I'm in a crucial meeting, I keep the door locked. Nobody has to disturb me. So, this is the boundary that I'm going to set. This is a bare minimum, equal or lesser than. Anything more than is where we have to tell them that there is a result or a consequence coming in place. So, what if I do not want to be disturbed? Somebody comes in knocking. So, that is that boundary, greater than boundary, right? So, there are two ways of explaining it to them that the boundary should not be breached. Otherwise, when you are verbally communicating something, how will people keep it? So when you have boundary breached, it is important for us to tell people who are having much better power than us. For example, our bosses, or for example, our spouses, right? So they have a better control or power in our life. So that is when we tell them that it is a request. Use emotions and tell them that, hey, when I'm in a meeting and the door is getting knocked over and over again, I do not feel comfortable. It really does not give me a mental peace to sit and work. So that's using emotions to tell them, using an I statement, and communicate very clearly that I feel disturbed. I feel hurt if my boundary is getting breached. So this is a very clear example of telling them if the boundary is breached, what happens. Or the second term that you can use is, you can solve this problem for me. When you say you can solve this problem, you hold the other person as a guardian for your boundary, right? If you can take care of me during my office hours, not getting disturbed, I, you will greatly help me in finishing my work within 9 to 5. Otherwise, I will have to push over my work to the later part of the evening, which will creep into our family time. So what we're essentially telling them is, you are telling them they can solve the problem for you. That means they are the guardians for your own boundary. The third thing that I wanted to tell is, anytime you're requesting for somebody to keep up the boundary, you talk about win-win. So if you don't do this, I will get protected. If you keep up the boundary, it is also going to serve you. For example, if my boss or your boss is going to come out every time after 6 o'clock, giving you some work, the plain simple way of explaining him is, hey, after 6 o'clock, I do not have energy to do this. If you would have come early in the morning, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning, I would have had better energy and better creativity to get this task done at the best quality for you. So this means they are also winning in a way that they do not come after 6 o'clock. So this is a way in which you request for the other person to keep up the boundary. Now let's talk about people who do not hold so much power. For example, your children or your peers or subordinates. So that way we tell them what is the consequence if the boundary is not kept. So always let us remember, the consequence of following the boundary has to be a positive reinforcement that we are giving them. For example, when I have to talk to my daughter and tell her that don't disturb me when I'm having an office meeting, a critical or a crucial office meeting, I tell her that if you're going to keep that up, we will go for a dinner, or I'm going to get you a toy. So this way, we are giving a positive reinforcement when the consequences followed. If not followed, it's very simple that I'm going to cancel that positive thing that I'm trying to give you. So this way, they get empowered to keep up the boundary that you're setting with them. So going back in time, how do we do this art of boundary setting? It is nothing but having a very clear and firm open communication with the other person. What we do is we follow a technique called as sandwich technique. We start with a gentle appreciation, and then the patty comes, which means you are having to have that conversation about what is the concept, what is the boundary, and if the boundary is breached, what are you going to do? Either a request or a consequence based upon the stakeholder that you're having. And then you close it again gently with an appreciation. Let's see an example. We've been talking about setting a boundary with your children, uh, when you're having an important office meeting, and how they should not be disturbing. If you're doing this using the sandwich technique, let us see how do we do it. I'll just give you a brief example. Now, before I go forward, since it is a child, now how are we going to set that boundary? If the boundary is breached, is it request or consequence? It's obviously a consequence because it's children, and then you can have this positive reinforcement running with them. So if you have to do it with them, just go about and tell them that, hey, I know that you are a child who is super understanding, and you will take care of things which I tell you. You've been an amazing kid so far. One thing that I wanted to tell you is that Mama wants to really work between this time to this time, and I want you to please do not disturb me so that I will have more time with you later on, right? And then you tell that if you're going to follow this, Mama is going to finish work within 9 to 5, and we are going to have more playful time. And I will promise you that I will get you this particular toy at the end of the month, so that mama's happy, you're happy. You're an amazing child, and I know that whatever mama says, you'll be able to follow, so that we will have better time later. So this is that sandwich technique where you start with a positive reinforcement and you put that patty where you explain that boundary very clearly: 9 to 5, I would not like you to disturb me. And then you go about and tell what is the, if the boundary is breached, what will happen. In this case, it was a consequence, and I put it on with a positive reinforcement. If it's going to be your boss, you tell the request, telling that, hey, if you would want to do this, I'm not going to be at the best of my energy. I would really like, to help you with your presentation for tomorrow. But next time, please come at 10 o'clock so that I'll have the best of my creative energy and I'm going to make beautiful presentations for you. So this would become the request for that person, right? So that's all about how we go about and make the boundaries. And communication here plays a huge role, more than identifying your boundaries, more than identifying your stakeholders, because communicating to them very clearly and taking care of their intentions on protecting your boundary is super important. Now, let's go about and talk about the second D, which is delegating the responsibility. While we play multiple roles, guess who can come and help us in performing these roles better? Right? There are multiple people who can come and help you. The first thing that I want you to take away from this delegate responsibility is that you will have to create your army of support so that things will get easy for you. Now, the next thing that I wanted to tell is list all the have to tasks that you will have to do. Because when you are performing multiple roles, there's million things that you will have to take care. And what interests you is all the topics that you will say, I choose to do this. As a parent, I do choose to do this. As a manager, I choose to meet my team once a week or once fortnightly so that I get better alignment. So the way you put your communication forward as choose to talks about how passionately you are driving your roles. There are quite often certain places where you might say, hey, you know what, I have to do this. I have to cook this meal. I have to do mopping, or I have to, schedule tasks at office as a manager. So the moment you would say have to, these are certain energy drainer tasks that you will be performing day in, day out, and you're not enjoying and you're not contributing value to these have to tasks. So now, how about we delegate these have to tasks so that you have the best of your energy for the best of the tasks that you would like to perform? The first thing that I would like all of you to do is to write down a list of all the have tos in all the areas of your life. I have to, do the cleaning at home. I have to uh, cook at home. So the moment you have to, think about who can come in and help you. See if there is somebody at your house who can come and help you in these tasks. Otherwise, you can also have a full-time help or a partial help that can come into support. So these are going to be the person whom you will delegate these have to task. So these are nothing but your army of supporting people that will help you perform your roles better. Now, the second thing that I would want to do out of that list, the have to list that you are going to write, is who are these possible people who can help you with the tasks. For example, if I'm doing a task at office and I'm not really enjoying it, it's just a task which I'm doing over and over again, and it does not, mean anything than me talking to my team members in my 9 hours of work. I would prefer doing strategic work and less of my operational work. If that's what you think, then you have to look at somebody who can step in and support you in this tasks which you have defined as have to. Then have this name next to them. So these people who you have written on the right side of your paper are nothing but your army of people who are going to protect your energy and help you finish your tasks in the roles that you're performing. Now, the next thing is to try to delegate these people or to empower these people to work or to finish the tasks for you effectively. Now, I would want to introduce a formula called TSAT formula in order to empower them and bring them forward as your army of people. Now, what does TSAT formula stands for. First T stands for train them. It's essential for us to train them to do any task that they are doing. For example, your household chores or the tasks at your work. Basically, you give them a clear understanding of what this particular job means, what is the clear outcome that you're requiring, and what is that timeline that you would want. So, these are clear requirements that you set them forward. For example, if I have to teach my help to give me a coffee every single day, I teach them in a way that I go to every nook and corner of that work, tell them very clearly when I want, how I want this to be presented, and how it has to taste. So, when you train them, it is essential for you to show them everything right at the start till the end, how this task is performed. So, you perform it and you show them that this is how I would like this task to be done. Then you move on to the second step, which is S of that TSAT, which is supervise them while they execute. It is important. The second step is that, okay, now I've done it. I would like you to perform it now so that I will be able to, so, sit and see you perform, and I will be able to tell you if you're doing any mistake. So that is supervise while they execute for the first time. And the third thing is the A, TSAT A, which means allow them to work independently. So the next time onwards, just let them independently operate and give them all that freedom to operate. All you have to do is, as a person who is delegating, you have to do only two things. One is correct or compliment. If they're doing it right, go ahead and compliment them and tell them that, hey, this is perfectly done. Or if you think there is something which can be corrected, they are not doing it right, then you go ahead and correct them. So this way, you know that they are performing the job or work, and they are just doing it the way you have shown them. And the last T, which is very important, after all of this, you've trained them, you've supervised them, you've allowed them to work independently. Now you've either corrected them or compliment them. The last step is that you compliment them and you've taken them to a place where they are just performing it perfectly well. The last T, which is very important, is the trust, because trust is very essential in you empowering your supporting team, or cheering for your supporting team. Trust is very essential. Now they know that how the job has to be done. After this, you just let them do however they would like to do, because the basic bare minimum necessities or the requirement is taken care of. So then what happens is that you just let them do however, and don't interfere into however they are doing. They might improve, they may bring out some creative ideas, they might bring out some automation technologies. Just sit back, trust them, and let them be the sole owners of the task that you are giving them. This is a way where you can empower them, right? The last thing that I wanted to tell you, is that, is this the end of it, that you have given somebody some job and they're going to take care of it? Things can go wrong in between. Now you've trained them, you've supervised them, you know that they're going to pick it up and work, and you trust them as well. Things can go wrong any point of time. And this is what I would like you to practice every day. The daily conversations, empower them to a daily conversation. In case something goes wrong, I would like you to use questions as a way to empower them and hold them accountable for their work. And how do you use this art of questioning? Stop using why and start using what and how. Because when you start using what and how, they get empowered, and they start becoming accountable for their tasks. The moment you start asking why, what happens is they get intimidated, they do not want to work with you, and it doesn't go well. So I'll explain it to you. For example, if you've given this timesheet task to your one of your member, and let's say they had overwhelming priorities for them to handle that particular day, and they did not do their timesheet work that particular day. So instead of going and asking, hey, why did you not do, how could this happen, the moment you say why, it just triggers their emotions, and they do not want to further continue, or the way they answer would not be logical anymore. They would go about and answer something which they do not mean. So asking why is a complete no no. Rather than if you ask, hey, what made you not perform this task? What was the other things that you were doing? Was there any other priority? And then they go about and tell that, yes, I had some other compelling deliverables that I had. So this way, you go back and ask the next question just to empower them and hold themselves accountable. So how would you like the next time when a situation like this happens, how would you like to complete this activity despite compelling priorities that you had? How can we make sure that this deliverable is taken care? And then they will give an answer themselves. So this way, you hold them accountable. For probably they might end up telling that, hey, next time I'm going to do something, I'm going to, next time I'm going to have a priority up in my hand. I'm going to inform you right before I close the day. I'm going to inform you that I'm not doing, so that you can pick it up for me and you can do it. Wow. That's how they tell you a way about going about it, and they will hold themselves accountable. So the next time, again, the same thing happens. No point in asking a why question. You go about and ask, we had agreed this. What made you skip the agreement that we've had? The moment you ask what, why did this happen? In a way that you ask them with the what, they go about and answering again what has gone wrong. The second question that you'll have to ask is, how do we go about solving this? And then I'm sure they are going to give you one more reason or one more way of solving this problem. And then you have your army supporting you perfectly, giving out solutions for what they cannot do. Right. So, this way, what happens is you're essentially creating your army, and you're essentially working with them every single day, empowering them so that they are going to support you in the roles that you're playing. And most importantly, remember that you are delegating all your have to tasks, which means that you are putting in investing your time in the places where in your role you think is essential for you to do. For example, I have delegated my daughter's tuition, the homework part, to another teacher, because that was a constant have to every single day and it was draining my energy. And what happens is 1 hour of studies and 1 hour of uh, you know happy time with my daughter or spending time with her on the activities. What happened was that the first 1 hour, which is let's say 5 to 6, I had to sit and do the work, and 6 to 7 we will have to have an activity together. 5 to 6 I was drained out because that was my have to task. I have to work on her homework, I have to sit and help her finish her homework. So that have to was now transferred to another person. Earlier, 6 to 7, I was not able to get my energy up because I was drained in the first hour of doing her homework. Second hour, I was drained. I was always on the couch telling her, can we do something on the couch? And she was also not liking. Now that I've understood that this was draining my energy, I have now delegated it to another teacher who comes home and takes care of my daughter's education. So I am just sitting there watching them do their homework. The second hour I am energized to do her activities. This way my daughter is happy, I'm happy, and I feel I'm performing that role of a mother better. So these are certain examples where you can take control of your have to tasks and delegate it. And the last topic of empowering them to daily conversation, stop asking why, start asking what and how, and hold them accountable for your daily work, is going to do wonders for you. The last D for for today is dare to say no, because that's very important. Because while we are going about and stretching our boundaries and supporting other people, supporting your own rules better, sometimes what happens is in pure intentions that you have to be 100% everywhere is definitely going to drain out. And sometimes the boundaries that you're going to work as a mother, as a employer, as a boss, as a subordinate, all of them get blurred. So it's essential to protect your energy. You will have to start saying no. And I would want to call it dare to say no, because that's something which is not very easy for any of us to do. I'd like all of us to understand that people treat us to the level of self respect that we hold for ourselves. If we are going to just pull in a lot of things and get merged into the requests that we have, that's not self respect that we have for ourselves, right? So the next time any question comes your way, you think if that's something that you want to hold for yourself. Let's also talk about a technique in which you will Have for yourself to say no to any request that comes to you. Dare to say no. The technique is calm technique, CALM technique, that I'd like all of us to take away. The first C stands for clarity and clarify. As and when you get a request, the first question to yourself is, do I have clarity to do it? Do I want to do it, or do I not want to do it? Or if I want to do it, not want to do it today, probably I should pick it up later. So that's a clarity that you have for yourself. Clarify, take a moment to clarify that request. You must understand clearly what this request is about before you go about responding. So that's clarity and clarify. The example could be, hey, you're talking about this particular project. Could you please remind me of the specifics of this project? I just want to understand it very well. So that's clarification of the requirement that comes your way. So that's the first C. The second alphabet in the calm is appreciate and assert. It's a A. So everything when you start responding has to be an appreciative inquiry. So in this case, you express your gratitude for the opportunity before you start declining it. Let us understand that kindness can soften any refusal that you can make. So appreciating just comes handy. You have to firmly assert your position. The next A is assert. You just have to firmly assert your position and make it very clear for them you cannot take up this request. So that's appreciated assertive. Let us look at the example. Hey, yes, I appreciate the opportunity, but I just have to say no this time. So this is softening the blow of the refusal, yet you're telling a very firm no. There is a no in that in the response that you're making. So that's appreciate and assert for you. Let us move on to the third alphabet of the calm, which is L, limit and lend solutions. What I mean by limit is that we as humans can just go about talking. Sometimes we get guilty of saying no and we go about telling them why you're saying no, uh, what are the possible reasons, and then the conversations gets longer and longer. When you are there to saying no, you keep it limited, which is concise. You can offer a concise reason for your refusal, which can help the other person understand the position that you are holding without having to over explain. For example, when you're setting the boundaries, by specifying what you're able to do, if anything at all, or reiterating your priorities. If there is nothing, just go about and reiterate what is a priority that you have. Example could be that, hey, I appreciate the opportunity, but I need to say no this time because my focus is on my current projects and I really cannot commit to anything right now. So, this is very clearly telling that you're appreciating, you're asserting by saying no, assertively saying no. And the third thing is that you're saying that I have focus on my current projects, which is my priority currently, and I really cannot commit anything right now. So, does that solve right now? Look, think about the other person. When the other person is coming for help, which means they think you're a solution provider. Now, by saying no, you're protecting your energy. But are we doing justice to the other person? No, because they're seeking some sort of solution. So, the next part of L is the lending solutions. If possible, suggest an alternative, either someone who can do it on your behalf or who can pick this up and run, or a different timeline. Again, this relates to the clarity part that we hold. Does it mean that I want to say no to this forever, or does it mean that today I cannot do, probably tomorrow I can do, or probably next week or next month, but I would like to do this? That's the clarity that we have with the first C. That comes in handy right now. Now, if you have decided that I never would want to do this, you can probably offer a suggestion telling that I can't help right now, but this particular person may have bandwidth for it. I can't help right now, but I can come around next week to support you on this if this task can be on hold until then. So this way, you're offering clear solution or not solution but an alternative to them, so that they have come to you with a question in their mind that this is a person who can support me. So you're still supporting them by offering alternatives. The final solution or the step in this calm technique is M, which is move on. This is another thing that we might quite often forget, and we go into over explaining and we go into dwelling in this request for a long time. My simple solution to this is move on. After you've communicated your refusal, gracefully steer the conversation away to another topic, because ensuring that you don't dwell on the refusal, right? It could just be, thank you for your understanding. On a different note, how is this project going on? So, what happens is, with saying thank you for your understanding, you're ending that conversation and you're now steering your conversation into another direction by telling them, hey, thank you very much for asking me, how is the project going on? So, this way, you are stopping that refusal topic right away and you're moving into a much better topic. So, I would like to go about and let's talk about calm technique once again. So, C stands for clarify and clarity in your mind, and you have to clarify more better details. The second A technique in calm is A, which is appreciate and assert. Always start by expressing your gratitude, because that can soften the refusal. And assertively say a no. I appreciate the opportunity, but I need to say no this time. The third topic of your calm is limit and lens solutions. Limit, because you have to keep your reason really concise and don't go about over explaining. I have a scheduling conflict that prevents me from accepting this request this time. So that's going on to give a concise reason. Lend solutions or lend alternatives. I can't help you right now, but this particular person may have the bandwidth to support you. And the final one of the final topic of your calm technique is move on. After you've communicated your refusal, gracefully move away from the conversation. Thank you for understanding. On a different note, how is your project going on? Right? So, this is calm technique for you, and this can help you deliver your message clearly, confidently, while keeping the interaction positive and professional. Now, let us go back and look at what we have come through through your the 3Ds to protect your work and life wellness, and how do we integrate it together. First, we started with defining boundaries. The second one is delegate the responsibility, and the third one is dare to say no. Talking about boundaries, it's basically training people how to have their transactions with you, and how to protect your energy and give back them 100 percentage. And that's about telling them what is the boundary and going about talking about either a request or a consequence based on the relationship that you have with them. The second thing that we had looked at today is delegate the responsibility. It starts with having your have to list, which is draining your energy, and going about identifying people and create them as your complete support system. And how do you do it? You use the TSAT formula. You start with train, then you go about supervising, and that is TS. A is about let them act independently, and you just have to correct or compliment. While all these three steps are done, the brilliant fourth step is trust them in the process and let them operate. And the final topic, when it comes to delegating and empowering them, how do we empower in daily conversations, is to stop asking why and start asking them what and how, and they are going to come up with the solutions themselves the next time. And since they have only told it, they are going to hold themselves accountable, and you are going to brilliantly work as a team, and you perform all your roles perfectly. The last one is to dare to say no, because of all the work that we are doing and we want to be all overachievers in the various areas of our life, we just tend to say yes to everything and not performing multiple topics. So that's when saying no comes in picture, and you use the calm technique, clarify and clarity. A is assert and appreciate. L is limit and lend solutions. And M is moving on. So these are going to be your communication strategies where you can protect your energy and still integrate your work in life. And the next time you are juggling with multiple roles, you don't have to drop any balls. You know now the defined work that you have, the defined roles that you are going to have, and every single day. When I talk about work life balance, I only look at every single day operating as a conscious decision that we are making. uh, it could be, for example, every single day you wake up, write down your priorities for that particular day. Because let us all understand that we are one human, and we will not be able to be 100% in various roles that we are playing. And we cannot be just 100 percentage in one particular time. We all have 24 hours. In that case, how do we go about this? Every single day, prioritize and write down what is that area that you will be concentrating today. For example, you have an important work, be that you're an entrepreneur, or you are a employee. You might have an important presentation to be making, right? So that particular day, work takes priority, and you can set the other things, extra things of other roles that you're performing at the back seat. So then the priority becomes work, and you work around the other roles that you're playing. As a mom, you'll have to inform your daughter that you're coming late, or you might have to inform your help or your spouse or whoever at home, the family part. Keep them informed that you are not going to come, and make sure that your other priorities are taken care while you are going to spend that particular day at work. It goes the same way to the other side as well, right? For example, if it is going to be your daughter's or your children's sports day, so that means that particular day's priority becomes your children, and then your work needs to be compromised that particular day. So you go about finishing your tasks one day earlier, or you go about finishing it one day later. But it's essential that you keep your stakeholders at work super informed that that particular day you'll be on leave, and you are going to be there for your children. So, this way, every day, writing out your priorities gives you a sense of empowerment for yourself, that you are performing one role and you will be performing that role to the fullest, while keeping the other priorities afloat by taking care of informing your other stakeholders prior. So, this is one quick tip. The second thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to prioritizing is the guilty feeling that we will all have. So what happens is, when we are at work, we might start thinking what is happening at home, how are the children protected, are the children doing their work properly. Or when you're at home, let's say you sit at the sports day, you keep thinking about your work as to, is everything happening in the right form at work? What if this goes wrong? What if other way goes wrong? So this is a guilty feeling that everybody gets in while we are tending to prioritize the work life balance. Because as humans, one thing that we all do is to be there everywhere, to perform all the roles 100% at the same time. That's practically not possible. So it's essential for us to keep our mindset in a way that I have prioritized this particular task for today. I've prioritized that I will be at my daughter's sports day today. So rest assured, I'm going to be 100 percentage. Even my mind is going to be 100 percentage. The other part of my work, I know it is being taken care, and that's where your support system comes in picture. You give enough requirements or enough clarity to the people at work, how things have to go while you are at not at work. So this way you have a peace of mind. You concentrate on whichever you chose to concentrate that particular day, and every single day becomes a conscious decision of where you have to be, what role you will have to perform, and what is the percentage of energy that you are giving. And keep those conscious decisions very clear. Once you make that decision, let that guilt out of your mind, because you've decided and you will be giving 100 percentage of what you are doing. So with that, I would like to open the floor. Are there any quick questions that I would you would like me to answer?
Hello. Hi.
Hello,
Yeah.
hi Meena.
This is Meena Anand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The session was very good, very interesting. I really liked your presentation and the way you spoke about it. Really appreciate and wanted to thank you. My question is, there are situations that a person needs a job real bad for certain reasons, to support the family or whatever the reason. He needs a job or she needs a job real bad, and the boss is mean, and it happens in different places including overseas as well. So if we are saying no, they may take it as personal, not as a company, like a loss for company or company's project is. it may be about personal ego, and then you become marked out, red flagged, and you are the first person to be shortchanged, no? So how to approach that with, of course, once you are that confident, next day you'll get a job or next minute. And job market is scarce. We all know that there are more applicants than the job candidate, more candidates than the job position. So how to address that issue? Part of 99% you are looking for job security, and you like everything except the boss who is demanding too much, giving you work after 6, and you want to say no, but to keep your job safe and secure and not to annoy the boss. How to find that balance? Thank you.
Thank you. That's an absolute brilliant question. A question that many of us will have, even at some point in their life. So, when it comes to a place where the person needs that job very badly and they are completely dependent on the job that they are holding, then I would like to add the technique here is would not be dare to say no, but it will more on how to um, set the boundary with their boss. For example, let's say the person who needs the job very badly comes has a boss who comes around at 6 o'clock or let's say 7 o'clock in the evening and asks regularly for a task to be done. So in this case, he definitely can't say no because you said the person needs the job very badly, and the boss is also in a way that they would consider the saying no as a red flag. In that, we can work with the boundary. So then in the mind, having that clarity that I would only want to work 9 to 6, and anything after 6 would not be possible. So that's the clarity that we have for the boundary. So if we remember, I spoke about anything equal to or less than becomes our boundary. So my equal to and less than here becomes closing or winding up the day by 6 p.m. So in this case, how do I go about talking to my boss is that again, keeping in mind that the boss will consider any no as a negative and this person needs to job very badly. So how to go about it is that accept the work. Let's say if it comes at 7 o'clock, day one, accept the job and tell them that, hey, you know what? I will have to be home at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I appreciate if you have any of these tasks to be coming up early in the day. My intention is to help you and support you in your role. Let's say he wants you constantly asks you for a presentation where he has to present to important stakeholders the next day. So giving out the intentions very clear that, hey, you know what, I would really love to support so that you become the hero or you perform your presentation pretty well for your meeting. But the thing is that if you come at 6 o'clock, I'm also drained of energy. Although I want to help you, but my energy is drained. I'm as less creative as I could be 10 o'clock in the morning. So how about the next time? I'll do it for this time. How about next time we do it in a way that at 10 o'clock you'll be able to give me this. Look out for more times that he comes. Second time, tell him the same thing firmly and politely. And the second time, you create a meeting 10 o'clock in the morning and then go about asking for, create a meeting for yourself, call him up at 10, tell him that, hey, I am prepared to help you. Do you have anything that you want my support? So that way, what happens is you're taking up more of his tasks, but this comes right at 10 o'clock so that it doesn't creep into 6 o'clock. You can prioritize your day better. You can help your boss better. So this is in a way that you set boundary very politely, yet firmly, but then you do it two times, three times, and you change your environment in which you're operating. For this case, your boss only remembers things the last minute. So you are putting a calendar for yourself, you are assertively and proactively going and asking him, hey, what are the tasks that I can do it for you? So this way, you're changing the environment to serve you better. Does that answer?
Yes and no. The reason is in communication, ethos, pathos, and logos, we all use that. But if the boss is not worried that you have low energy, this is emotional thing. They expect you to have the same energy level throughout the day until the time you leave office. And they're not emotional about your mother-in-law is sick and your children are sick. I mean, work needs work, professionalism, and 100% input. So I don't think so. Lady boss, I don't know, but male boss, it hasn't happened to me. I was as a boss, I was very compassionate. and that was being rewarded. But not many people in corporate world. It was in a corporate world, so it was a small business. So being compassionate, being helpful, being considerate really helped me to retain the staff. But I don't think so in multinational corporations these people are going to have that your energy level is low. For them, what the fuck? I mean, why your energy level is low? They expect you to have the same energy level throughout the day. If you can work at home, you have energy to do. So what I'm thinking, I'm just going emotional. Not many people will buy this. I mean, it's a very good approach, sensible approach, right approach. But I mean, let's go on the other side as a boss. Do you think they're going to accept that your energy level is low, so you have to leave? Just a question, just not to question you, but to
Absolutely.
get the, yeah.
Absolutely. That's putting out the environment right then and there. And I'm happy that you are a compassionate boss, you're a compassionate leader yourself. Um, so when we know that our boss is going to be not emotional, if you're going to tell that, hey, you know what, I am this, when we know that the boss is like that, it's plain simple, looking at the win-win. So here telling that I am better at 10 o'clock creatively to make better presentations for you, which is going to make you look absolutely good in front of your stakeholders. But at 6 o'clock might not be the case. Right. So this way, what we are telling is we are telling them that I am better at 10 o'clock. So the next day I'm going to come to you at 10 o'clock. Let's do this. So that's an intention telling them that, hey, I'm better creative. I can be doing the best job. Or even telling them that this particular work needs somebody and that person is available at 10 o'clock. So that's it, getting into a win-win place where the whole intention is to make you win. And for you to win, I need to have some liberty into the operating space. So that could be an example where we tell them that next time at 10 o'clock, but we still are going to do the work. We still are going to make the, creative presentation that we are doing. But the next time when you go at 10 o'clock, the boss responds better at 10, maybe at 11. And then we create that environment in a way that you get the inflowing of tasks at 10 o'clock. It creates a work culture for yourself and for your boss. Maybe the next time you give, some he gives you a 10 o'clock work, maybe reward him better with, hey, you know what, generally I used to do this. Today I'm giving you this extra an animation. Earlier, I used to do only presentation. Today, I did a better animation. I'm sure this is going to win a lot of hearts in the presentation that you're making. So this way, he knows that, okay, 10 o'clock if I go, I'm just not getting a presentation that I wanted, but she has put her innovative ideas. She's made it as creative as possible. Next time I'm going to go 10 o'clock. So it's a working relationship that we will have to establish with our boss. And when it comes to bosses who would want work right done right at the time that they are asking, it's going to be a long boundary setting process that we are in. And all that we will have to have is the patience and kindness in which we operate with them. And I'm sure it will work on a longer term. It just might not happen at first term, as you were mentioning. But I'm sure working with the boundaries, helping them understand your state stand, helping them understand how it could work better for them, changing that environment of work for them so that it is going to benefit you, and it's end of the day going to be win-win. I think that's something which will work wonder. Great. With that, if no questions, then that is work life balance for us. Let us all understand that we all have 24 hours in a day, and we are playing a lot of roles. And we as humans would love to give 100 percentage to everything. But the most important thing is that we prioritize every single day with the role that we are playing and go about the conscious decision that we are making and give it your 100% in the decision that you're making. And remember the 3D strategy for communication. The first one is defining boundaries. The second one is delegating the responsibility and empowering your support system so that you perform your roles better. And the third one is dare to say no. At times, you will have to say no and not just take everything into your to do list where it is going to grow beyond. So, these three things are going to come in handy. And I wish you all the best of luck in integrating all the roles that you're playing, and you take care of your wellness. All right. With that note, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kavina. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
And
you.